Welcome to the series where we look for opportunities in the trenches to multiply our capital. This is asymmetric gains where we turn a little into a lot. All right, so here's the goal, guys. I have 8 Solana that I'm looking to plug into one of these coins, and I already have, but we're going to go through the opportunities because there are 3 actions we're going to take with these coins, and it's either going to be buy, watch, or reject. Welcome to week 2. Let's see where the watch list stands. 5 coins were on the list from last week. Here you can see LSM bled from 78 down to 66k. Seller and Alaro basically went flat. Albemarle was at 150 and currently is at 193. And Blocks dropped from 300 to 200. The one we actually picked up was Blocks. I was in at 330k with the full 8 sold. Then we got a break of structure, so I simply closed it. Honestly, I'm glad this played out this way because I want to show you guys that trading doesn't go right 100%. And I'm going to keep this challenge honest because I want to show you the process of actually growing your capital rather than simply giving you the right end result. So right now, I'm going to go over this week's market conditions and the decisions I'll be making, as well as running through some opportunities and how I'll be tackling this challenge from here. So like I said, this trade was simply canceled because we broke the structure. It doesn't mean it can't recover. But as of right now, I'd rather simply wait for better conditions to arrive rather than risk my capital going down lower than it already is. So right now, the market as a whole is suffering. There isn't that many runners. I mean, if we just take a look at the Solana tab, we won't see that many coins actually making runs. There is one right now that's doing a run, that's Cakecoin. But like I said, it's one runner out of thousands of coins. So we don't have the necessary liquidity for coins to actually move on up. A lot of these coins are still under $1 million market cap, and a lot of coins struggle to get above that $1 million market cap threshold. So what I've done is I've looked at other opportunities that I'm interested in that potentially could be runners. Now, I really like AI plays. I think AI plays are going to have an easy time to run. So I'm looking at DREG. I'm also looking at Spectro. It looks really good in terms of structure. We had P0 actually make a massive move from 51k all the way up to about 4.24 million. So when we see AI coins run like this, it reminds us that, okay, once the money finds its way to the right coin, it can really pump. And I do think DREG as well as Spectro have that potential to move us up higher. Where the market cap ceiling is, I would say anywhere below 5 million. I've seen multiple AI coins make a run anywhere between 1 million to 5 million, but they hardly are able to sustain that market cap because we are in a very profit-taking environment. People aren't willing to hold for higher market caps because the ceilings are lower and people don't believe we can sustain those higher market caps. So like I said, I'm looking at AI plays. Spectro is one, but I did talk about a meme coin last week that has been holding up extremely well. And you can see it here. It's called Albemarle City. We talked about it at 150k. It went up to 188 and it even hit 270. Now, the only reason I'm not really interested in this is because it's a meme coin. I think meme coins are suffering right now in terms of the amount of dilution that's going on in the space. There's just too many and they keep coming out with new ones every time. So I do think this has potential. It's just not the kind of play I want to focus on in this kind of market environment where things can just die very easily, which is why I'm focusing on AI plays. Now, speaking of AI plays, there is this coin called LSM. I talked about it last week. It was at 75k. However, it did run to 237k very briefly over the week. And since then, it's died back down. Like I said, this is going to require more time and patience for these coins to run. But I would say these coins have a very high chance of making good moves towards the upside for when the eventual AI rotation happens. It's just that I'm not willing to bet my capital in the current conditions we are currently in. But once the conditions do improve, these are one of the coins I'm going to be betting on to get that capital up from where we are currently at 4.85 SOL all the way up to that 40, and then getting it from 40 to 80 to complete the challenge. Right now, we have hit a bit of a speed bump, but that's okay. It's part of the process. This is just how it goes. The idea here is that we don't hit zero so that we can't actually multiply our money. But right now we are on the good zone. So all we have to do is wait for a good play to come up. And these are our 3 potential plays. We simply have to wait for better conditions because without better conditions, it doesn't matter how good the play is. The play is not going to run if people aren't willing to risk their capital. And right now, they're simply not willing to risk it. So the challenge has taken a bit of a stall here. But guess what? Taking no position is also a trade because we're preserving the capital we need to actually grow it later in the future. And that's what we're doing here. Our trade is taking no position and simply waiting. I mean, we talked about Jimothy last week, and you can see it was at 16 million, I think, last week. And since then, it went down to 5 million. And now, if it's not able to actually rebound and move on up here, that 5 million support isn't going to hold. And then it's just simply going to die like Punch did and Penguin has as well. So this is something to keep in mind. You need to be taking profit when the market gives it to you. A lot of people were complaining that the run to 50 million wasn't enough, but that's because they're buying the top. They're buying 20 million. They're buying 26 million, and they're expecting it to move on up in the current market conditions we're in, which is simply not going to happen. We will have outliers, but they're called outliers for a reason. They don't happen every time. So when you see the market give you a $50 million runner, you don't think, is that it? You think, wow, that's a $50 million runner. And if you got in at the lows, then you're winning. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get in at the lows with these coins. You can see everything is pretty much at the lows here. You can see it's been consolidating for longer than a month on this side. This one's been consolidating for a month, as has this one. So we're looking for coins that are consolidating and will have the narrative required to run higher once the right time arrives. But that's the current update on the situation with our challenge. We're simply going to wait it out this week and see if next week the conditions improve so we can actually bet our stack and then see it grow as the money arrives. And these are the current plays we're looking at. So next week, if the conditions do improve between now and then, I'll either still be sidelined or I will have bought into one of these positions to capture the upside. So subscribe to follow along and let's see where this market takes us. Good luck out there and happy trading.